giving you a new perspective. That's the way we see it. Striving to bring you the news in compelling ways so you can see from a bird's eye view. Giving you the best shot, a new angle, the whole picture. We're taking our coverage to new heights with the KTTC Drone Cam. KTTC News Center, where you expect leadership and see it.
I'm Jacob Murphy. Thanks for watching KTTC.
Live from KTTC, the area's most watched afternoon news. This is News Center at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Francisco Almenard-Moore. Shannon Russo is off today. After making landfall Friday night as a Category 4 hurricane, Harvey has now stalled over the Texas coast and is setting up for what could be a catastrophic flooding event, with some places getting more than 30 inches of rain over the next several days. Houston officials say more than 20 inches of rain has already fallen over the area, forcing road closures and flight cancellations. Hobby Airport, the city's second largest, was forced to close due to flooding on roadways. Jay Gray reports from Houston, Texas.
The water and tensions continue to climb in Houston. The remnants of Hurricane Harvey spilling over the nation's fourth largest city. The National Weather Service warning up to 50 inches of rain could fall on some areas.
You know, you get this much rain in 24 hours, you know. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock last night, everything was cool. And then the heavens opened up and we're getting 5 inches of rain an hour.
The rain was heavy, constant, and fast, the flooding catching many off guard.
So when I opened the door, more water rushed in, and all of my stuff flew out, and it just kept coming in. So I shut the door back, and I was like, I gotta get out.
Search and rescue missions are underway, but first responders are struggling to keep up with all the calls for help.
The system, there are a lot of people who are calling, but let me ask, let's give preference to the life-threatening calls, okay?
Everything from helicopters to boats to flatbed trucks have been deployed to deliver victims to higher ground.
And we prayed a lot, and we just praised God, and we were rescued, so we're very thankful.
Residents who need help have been told to avoid attics. Rescuers are worried people may be trapped inside.
It's pretty bad back there. We need some chainsaws and some axes so we can get people out of their houses. We got the fire, as you can tell, down here. The police are down there with their boats, but they're requesting that we get some axes and some chainsaws.
It is a desperate race now against the water, trying to get thousands of people to safety here. Officials have put out an all-call for anyone with a boat or high-water vehicle to help in the rescues here. Already, there have been 3,000 high-water rescues. Jay Gray, NBC News, Houston.
Nearly half of the Red Cross emergency response fleet, more than 150 vehicles, have been mobilized. 4 of those emergency response vehicles are from the Iowa region. 20 volunteers from Iowa are either in Texas as of Sunday night or will be soon in the disaster area. Now we're going to get a quick check-in with meteorologist Sarah Gannon. Now, Sarah, it's to my understanding that this hurricane, tropical depression, tropical storm is going to affect our area in some way. Is that correct?
Yeah, it can. Depending on where it kind of ends up, it can with what's going on in the atmosphere right now, there's a ridge, and depending on where that tropical storm moves to after it kind of moves out of the Texas area, could affect our weather, giving us some drier conditions, or it could give us a chance for seeing some showers later on in the week. But based on what we're seeing right now, we are expected to see much drier conditions throughout the week. But looking a quick look here at Tropical Storm Harvey, you can see rain bands are starting to get smaller, but the main threat with the storm is that torrential rain and flooding for much of that area. But back home, we are seeing a few showers and a few thunderstorms starting to pop up, and those are kind of staying off to the northwest of Rochester, but we will kind of continue to monitor those here throughout the remainder of the evening and seeing kind of where they end up. But temperatures around the area are much more warmer than what they were yesterday, and much sunnier conditions as well. Temperatures are sitting in the low to mid 70s for much of the area, and it is quite breezy out here. Most folks are seeing a bit of a breeze with the winds. But a live look from our Lewiston Auto Skycam at St. Mary's looking towards downtown Rochester. You can see those clouds starting to dissipate here throughout the afternoon, and we're going to continue to see those clouds kind of, at least some of them, kind of linger with us here throughout the next couple days. But quick look here at your next few hours forecast. We're going to see those clouds kind of stick with us and a possible chance of seeing an isolated shower, maybe a rumble of thunder later on this afternoon and into this evening as well. But I'll have your full forecast here coming up in just a bit. In just a bit, Francisco.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Yep.
A 15-year-old male was pulled from the Lester River in Duluth after allegedly jumping into the water at a popular swim spot known as the Deeps. The boy was identified as Will J. Schlottick from Duluth. The Duluth Fire Department responded to a call around 5:30 Saturday evening to report of a male jumping into the water and not resurfacing. Fire officials say the male was pulled from the water 2 blocks downstream the Lester River at 5:40 p.m. According to officials, Schlottick sustained life-threatening injuries and was later pronounced dead at St. Luke's Hospital in Duluth. A 10-state outbreak of human salmonella infections are being linked to backyard chickens and ducks. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 961 people have been sickened by live poultry so far this year, including 29 in Minnesota. That's more than in all of 2016. Nearly 1/3 of cases were in children under 5 years old. Experts say any live poultry can carry salmonella bacteria, and even if they look healthy and clean. So if you raise chickens or ducks, experts say be sure to wash your hands thoroughly after touching them, don't allow them in your house, and avoid snuggling or kissing your feathered friends. Tech giant Apple says it plans to build 2 huge data centers in Iowa. The company announced Thursday that it will build a $1.375 billion project in the city of Waukee, just outside of Des Moines. Apple plans to complete construction on the first building in April of 2020 and the second building by April 2021. The company expects roughly 1,700 temporary construction jobs to be created with the project, with some 50 permanent jobs. Once the facilities are completed, Apple receives some $208 million in tax incentives from the state and local governments. A beloved decades-long tradition in Goodhue County has come to an end. Today, Jewel Ness hosted his last fly-in at Cherry Grove Central Air Park, south of Wanamingo. Aviation enthusiasts have been gathering at the event annually for the past 25 years to showcase and fly their ultralight aircraft. As for Ness, he became fascinated with planes when he was a little boy and piloted planes as a hobby for decades. After hosting the fly-in for 25 years, Ness told us what he'll miss the most.
It's just good to see the people come and talk to you. That's all what it's about, reminiscing. Well, there's no other feeling like it when you're up there all by yourself. And yeah, it's fun. I guess you gotta call it fun.
In addition to ultralight aircraft, the annual event also featured a car show and an outdoor church service. According to the Minnesota Historical Society, there are around 85 lighthouses on Lake Superior, and while we don't have an exact number on how many on Lake Superior are open to the public, we do know about efforts to open another one up. It's the Rock of Ages Lighthouse off the shore of Isle Royale. It was built in the early 1900s, and while it's still a working lighthouse, the building in which that light sits needs a lot of help. The Duluth man is leading the effort to fix it up, and the process put up a spotlight on a piece of Lake Superior history.
5 miles off the southwest corner of Isle Royale, the Rock of Ages Lighthouse sits in Lake Superior. For more than a century, its light has helped save ships from the dangerous reef below.
It is like an 1/8 of an inch.
Now, a group of people are working to save it.
Well, most of the plaster in the tower is falling off the walls. All the veneer plaster has failed, and all the wood floors, original wood floors, are all rotted away.
David Girth is the founder of the Rock of Ages Lighthouse Preservation Society. He started the group in 2008 with hopes of restoring the lighthouse to the way it was in the 1930s.
Oh, I came up to Isle Royale like a lot of the people as a backpacker, tourist, and saw the lighthouse and saw that no one was taking care of it and really wanted to be a part of it the other way.
Restoration work got underway this summer.
One of the last rooms we're going to do.
The group hopes to restore 1 room each year using grant money, donations, and the help of volunteers who sign up for a week-long stay working on the lighthouse.
It's going to be a long time coming before it's finished, but I think this area here, the keeper's quarters, is going to be, once the wood trim gets on it, it's going to look pretty nice.
The goal is that this will eventually be open to the public, allowing people to step back into time and see what life was like in a lighthouse in the 1930s.
A living history, site where people could walk in and just really feel what it's like to be back when the keepers were actually here living in this tower, to feel what they felt and see what they saw.
I think that people need to know their history.
The group hopes to finish the restoration by 2022. Until then, each summer will be filled with work, bringing a piece of the past to light.
Such a different world these days, and people need to be connected to their past. And this is a really unique place to be and experience that history.
The Rock of Ages Lighthouse is part of Isle Royale's National Park. As you saw, the lighthouse sits on a very small rock in a very big lake. The Preservation Society says they don't know how they'd get members of the public to the lighthouse or how they'd stay there once they arrived. They obviously still have some time to work that all out. Coming up, sunny skies and mild temperatures return to our area. Sarah will tell you when in our forecast. And we'll take a look at what's going on around the country and in the rest of the world, including an update on the Barcelona terror attack.
Hi, Roger here from Rogers Tree Service. We'd like to thank our customers for another great year. It's going to be a commercial, but I'd like to play for you a song by my son, Marshall Ingholm.
As the bullets flew by, there were tears in his eyes as he was fighting just to survive. Something warm in his hands.
I'd like to invite you to visit our website at www.rogerstreeservice.net to hear the rest of this song, some other songs, and to learn more about Rogers Tree Service. We also process and sell mulch in several different colors. You can pick it up or we can deliver it for you. Wholesale pricing to the public for a limited time, $15 to $35 per cubic yard. For any questions or free estimate, call 280-0453. 280-0453.
Come to Land of Dreams Sizzling Hot Tub Sale, where you can get 20 different Nordic hot tubs for under $5,000, or choose Bullfrog Spas, the only customizable hot tub in the industry. Save up to $1,500, or save $2,500 on the new 13-foot swim spa. Swim, exercise, or just have fun with the whole family. So come to Land of Dreams for our Sizzling Hot Tub Sale, going on now through Labor Day.
The Republican office of a Kentucky city has been vandalized. The words Nazi scum and Die Nazi have been scrawled on the storefront of the Republican Party of Fayette County. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray has spoken out against the vandalism. The Democratic mayor wrote on Twitter that the city has, quote, zero tolerance for this vandalism. We're all Americans regardless of party registration. Hundreds of people have taken to the streets to protest hatred and racism near San Francisco. This rally stands in opposition to one planned for Berkeley today, but canceled. The organizer of that rally, No to Marxism in America, told people not to come amid fears of violence, while stressing she denounces hatred and white supremacy. But the demonstrators here apparently didn't believe her, unfurling a large Resist banner. And another person has died from injuries 10 days after the Barcelona van attack, bringing the total death toll from this month's twin assaults in Spain to 16. Authorities said the 51-year-old German woman died today in a Barcelona hospital. She was left in critical condition when a militant drove a rented vehicle into crowds on Barcelona's famous Las Ramblas Boulevard on August 17th. The attack has now killed 14 people. The two others died during the driver's getaway and in a separate car and knife attack in Spanish coastal resort of Cambril. More than 300,000 people visit each day the 59th Damascus International Fair. The terror attack on its fourth day, which killed 7 and injured 4 others, did not dampen the enthusiasm of the visitors. Strolling and taking pictures at the fair, they showed broad smiles with no trace of the prolonged war on their faces. There were evening theatrical performances every day during the 10-day run of the international economic and trade activities. Many Syrians hope this fair may mark the beginning of peace and stability in Syria. They hope many more events like this will take place in the coming years. The 59th Damascus International Fair opened on August 17th with companies from 43 countries and regions contributing to the fair. And it's looking like a little bit of rain coming our way, right, Sarah?
Yep, we do. I am monitoring some showers and a few thunderstorms that are moving through our area, but I'll have your full forecast here coming up just after the break.
Whenever I show up in a scene of some horrible thing,
Good evening from Manchester.
I try to put myself into it. How would I be handling this right now? Who would I want to talk to?
What were people saying to each other?
We need to bring great care in how we tell their stories and to really understand where they're coming from.
It's the perfect time to cozy up to a new fire table and relax in an artesian spa from Leisure Aquatic Products. Our fire tables come in all shapes and sizes and will match the style to perfectly accent your deck or patio. And we have artesian spas specifically designed to provide the ultimate therapeutic spa experience. Right now, receive a free fire table with the purchase of a new artesian spa. Stop by Leisure Aquatic Products today to see how we can make your outdoor living experience extraordinary.
Remembering a loved one to keep them near. Heartfelt tributes online at KTTC.com. Sponsored by Rennings Flowers in Rochester, the leader in long-lasting flowers.
Every day, 117 Americans take their own lives.
That's one person every 12 and a half minutes gone.
Join the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention
And CW Rochester for the Out of the Darkness Walk for Suicide Prevention.
Help us raise awareness and funds and bring hope to those affected by suicide.
Walk with us Saturday, September 16th at Silver Lake East Pavilion in Rochester. Sign up at cwrochestermn.com.
Join us as we walk out of the darkness
and walk to fight suicide together.
News Center weather sponsored by Pioneer Seeds.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to start tonight down in Texas looking at Tropical Storm Harvey. Here we can see he's a bit smaller as he's made landfall, and the main threat with Harvey is the torrential rainfall and the torrential flooding as well, or the flooding that's due to the torrential rain. But Harvey, we are going to see him kind of move back out towards the Gulf of Mexico and then kind of move back in again towards Texas. So Houston could see more rain by the end of the week. We are going to continue to kind of watch Harvey as he starts to kind of move away and decrease down to a tropical depression. But back in our area, we are monitoring some showers and a few thunderstorms as they move in from the northwest. And we are going to continue to watch those throughout the evening, and we could see a few showers and maybe a rumble of thunder or two later on this afternoon and possibly this evening as well. But kind of zooming out a bit here, we can see that we have these rain chances because we are being dominated by a low pressure system at this moment, and the sky is kind of starting to close off and as it moves off towards the east. But we will see those showers and thunderstorms kind of move through this evening, and we will see those kind of decrease throughout the overnight as well. So we should stay dry during the overnight. But right now in Rochester, we are sitting at 73 degrees, which is quite a bit warmer than what we saw yesterday. We barely got out of, most folks didn't even get out of the upper 60s. So today we're at 73 right now with winds out of the northwest at 8 miles an hour and dew points at 60 degrees. So not too bad out there. And we were able to see some of that sunshine come out this afternoon as well. But a live look from our Lewiston Auto Sky Cam, looking from St. Mary's, looking towards downtown, and we can see those beautiful blue skies and a few of those cumulus clouds kind of sticking around the area. And we will see those clouds kind of stick with us throughout the next couple days as well. But looking at sky conditions around the remainder of the area, we are seeing some showers and thunderstorms kind of just off to our northwest there, and we are seeing much sunnier conditions off to our southeast, and some folks seeing that mix of sun and clouds and a few of those showers around the area as well. Temperatures around the area much warmer than yesterday and still mild here in the low to mid 70s. Albert Lee getting up to 79, 73 here in Rochester, 72 over in Preston. And dew points, very comfortable. Some folks are seeing those lower 60-degree temperatures, but most are staying in those upper 50s. So it is rather comfortable outside. And we are seeing a bit of a breeze out there if anyone is outdoors. 8 miles an hour in Rochester, 10 in Zumbrota, and 7 up in Red Wing. So we are a bit breezy out there. But looking at our future cast, we're going to see those showers and thunderstorms move through our area the remainder of this evening. So most should be out by the midnight hour. Clouds are going to stick with us into the overnight hours and also to start off our Monday. Clouds are also going to stick with us through the remainder of the day on Monday. Futurecast picking up on a few showers, Monday afternoon, but I'm thinking we're going to stay a bit drier. We could see a few peaks of sun, and we will see those clouds stick with us through Tuesday into the through Monday overnight into Tuesday. Tuesday, we'll see those clouds start to decrease by the afternoon. But for tonight, we are going to get down to about 75 for our low. We're going to stay mild and dry throughout the overnight, and we are going to see those clouds kind of stick with us through the remainder of the evening. But tomorrow, stay cool and cloudy as we get to around 70 degrees, and we are going to see a few peaks of sun during the day as well. Looking at your extended forecast, so we see those clouds kind of stick with us through Monday and decreasing by Tuesday. But for the remainder of the week, we should get up to mid-70s and hopefully make a run at 80 degrees by Saturday. But with Saturday, we also see a chance of maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm possibly coming in.
All right.
Not too bad.
It's looking like a pretty good work week to me. Thank you very much, Sarah. Still to come, the WNBA's best team, the Minnesota Lynx, are back in action tonight. We'll have a preview of their game against the LA Sparks. Plus, the Twins look to leave Toronto with a series win. Mark is next with sports.
Rochester Harley-Davidson has 2017s on the showroom floor, plus a large selection of pre-owned motorcycles. Rochester Harley-Davidson has financing for all budgets available on both new and used. Our factory-trained technicians will have your bike tuned with our Superflow dyno tuning cell, flow bench head porting, welding shop, and milling machine 14-inch lathe. For your comfort and style, try on Harley-Davidson motorcycle lifestyle apparel. Have fun with your money at Rochester Harley-Davidson.
The Rochester Civic Theater Company presents the Tony Award-winning comedy, You're in Town. That's right, You're in Town. A side-splitting musical satire of greed, love, and rebel dreams. In a time when water is worth its weight in gold, toilets become the front line of revolution. Don't miss You're in Town, live at Rochester Civic Theater Company, September 8th to October 1st. Get your tickets today by calling 507-282-8481 or rochestercivictheater.org. See you at the Civic.
You don't want to cook? I understand. Give me a call. We deliver the goods right to your house. Our pies start with handmade dough. Use the freshest ingredients, contain the perfect pinch of spices, and are smothered in 100% real cheese. This combination makes your pizza come alive. Let us deliver dinner to your family tonight. When the family's happy, I'm happy. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
This message brought to you in part by Cars and Credit, Shaw offices, and KTTC.
What's going on, sports fans? I'm Mark Paulos. This evening, we start the sports party with the Twins, who hold on to the American League's final wild card spot by half a game. The Twins were looking to pick up a series win in Toronto today after splitting the first two games. All right, let's pick this one up. Bottom two, Twins up 1-0, but Nori Aoki is going to single on a line drive to center field. Miguel Montero scores, and that will tie the game at 1. Then in the third inning, bases loaded for Kenny Vargas. And he's going to drop that one in front of Steve Pearson left field. Eddie Rosario and Byron Buxton are going to come around to score, and the Twins take a 3-1 lead. After that, it was all Byron Buxton. Top 4 with a man on, and see you later. That gets out of there for a homer. Then top 7, this time with no one aboard. And again, Buxton goes deep to left field. And then one more time, top 9. How about one more? Buxton goes deep 3 times. He hits his 11th, 12th, and 13th homers of the year. And just the 8th Twin to ever have a 3-homer day. The Twins beat the Blue Jays 7-2 and hold a 1-game lead for the AL's second wild card spot. Now down to Cleveland we go, where the first place Indians played host to the Kansas City Royals. Let's pick this one up. Bottom 2, Cleveland up 3-0. One on for Francisco Lindor, and look out left field. He hits his 24th homer of the year, and the Indians take a 5-0 lead. Still in the second, 2 on for Carlos Santana, and he turns on that field, and if it's fair, it's gone. That one is off the foul pole for a 3-run homer, and Cleveland takes an 8-0 lead. They go on to add 4 more, and they beat Kansas City 12-0. Now to the NFL, where your Minnesota Vikings will play their 3rd preseason game tonight. They host the San Francisco 49ers in their first home preseason game of the season. And in afternoon action, NFC North foe Chicago traveled to the Music City to take on the Tennessee Titans. Pick it up no score first quarter. Bears on the 1-yard line. Mike Glennon with the play-action pass, and he finds Deion Sims for the touchdown. And that makes it 7-0 Chicago. Later in the first, scary moment for the Bears. Wide receiver Cameron Meredith goes down and was unable to leave the field under his own power. The team fears he tore his ACL. Then in the fourth, Bears up 5. Number 2 overall pick Mitch Trubisky drops back and drops a dime to Tanner Gentry for the 44-yard touchdown. That's why they took him number 2 overall, and the Bears beat the Titans 19-7. From the gridiron to the hardwood we go as the Lynx travel to Los Angeles to take on the Sparks in a matchup of the best 2 teams in the WNBA. For the second straight year, the Minnesota Lynx and the LA Sparks will be the top 2 seeds in the WNBA playoffs. The question is, who will be the number 1 seed? It's the third and final matchup between the Lynx and the Sparks, who split the first 2 games of their season, both of which were at the XL Energy Center. The Lynx lead the Sparks by 1.5 games in the standings and can lock up the number 1 seed with a win. So this is one of the biggest games of the year for the Lynx, and tip-off is at the top of the hour. And tonight, you will not want to miss this, I promise you that. Pat and I will preview the upcoming 2017 high school football season here in southeastern Minnesota in our annual prep preview show. We talked to coaches and players from almost 50 high schools and got a lot of good stuff, a lot of honest reactions, and even some predictions from some of our players and coaches. Prep preview airs tonight at 6 p.m. and will lead right into the Vikings' 3rd preseason game. So quite the football Sunday here on your favorite station, KTTC. And that's Look at Sports on this Sunday evening, but don't go anywhere. Francisco, Sarah, and I will be back with more News Center after the break.
News Center Sports, sponsored by Diamond Joe Casino.
With the start of the season just around the corner, it's time to turn up the lights and turn up the heat. Niners, Vikings. Touchdown! The preseason hits prime time tonight on NBC.
I want you guys to start your approach. Stay parallel, maintain visual. Open the line. Execute. So with the American government, we're here to take you home. Let's go.
Come to Land of Dreams for our huge Labor Day sale. Our 2-sided mattresses that you can flip are up to 50% off. That's mattress sets starting out at just $3.99. We also have memory foam mattresses starting out at just $2.99. At Land of Dreams, we have a 4-drawer chest available in 5 different colors for just $99, plus a 5-piece bedroom set for only $6.99. Don't miss our huge Labor Day sale going on now at Land of Dreams.
Universal Marine and RV. Good times and memories. Imagine yourself having fun and feeling free. Universal Marine and RV. For all you want to do, this is where you want to be. Universal Marine and RV. Good times.
Rather make less on each sale and make a whole lot more sales.
KTTC Community Calendar, brought to you by Drury's Furniture.
Ahead for us tonight, the latest from here in Houston as the nation's 4th largest city deals with a growing flood emergency. Thousands of calls for help as the floodwaters continue to rise. Plus, we'll look at why Houston is so vulnerable to this kind of severe flooding. The mayor says no neighborhood has been spared. Also tonight, the impact of the storm on the economy and travel in Texas and beyond. And we'll speak with the governor of Texas about this unfolding catastrophe. It's all just ahead on NBC Nightly News.
And a little good news out of Houston. A Houston taxi driver says as Hurricane Harvey approached, a hawk got in his cab and refused to leave. William Brusso posted this video and several others of the hawk on YouTube. You can hear Brusso talking about the bird that say he's calling Sergeant Harvey Hurricane. He says he saw the bird on the street Friday and got out of his taxi to take some video when the hawk swooped in the vehicle. Brusso claims he tried to get the bird out, but the hawk refused. Now he's feeding the bird and, you know,
looks like they're friends.
Yeah.
Birds have, like animals have natural instincts to know like these things happen.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. Tune back in at 6 for Prep Review.